I got inspired to do hydroimaging when I decided I wanted to put color on my 3D prints and not just dye them or paint on them, but actually have an image be printed on top of them. When I started doing my hydroimaging project, I was inspired by these Picasso paintings and wanted to make one in 3D using 3D scanning, 3D printing, and then the last step was hydroimaging, which I discovered on this path of figuring out how I could print an image onto the face. So I had to teach myself how to hydroimage 3D prints, and not many people have done that yet. So there wasn't really a how-to video out there, or how to do it anywhere. So I watched a bunch of videos because hydroimaging is mostly used for putting flames on motorcycle helmets, or camouflage on guns, or printing on tire rims. So I have an industrial-sized quantity of hydroimaging paper. It ended up looking like this. To get the sculpture of myself, I 3D scanned my own head. You can then put it on the computer in 3D modeling software, and it's a 3D model of your head, and it's extremely accurate. So I scanned myself, I scanned my head, and I printed out the perfect reproduction of my bust from my shoulders up. So in 3D modeling software, I cut out the face and just printed the face separate with the intention of putting it back into the bust later once I hydroimaged it. I got a Tupperware bin and filled it with water, and then I had to section off different sections, one for printing and one for rinsing. And then once you have your bin sectioned off, you can cut the different pieces of your hydroimaging paper. So in my case, it was the different faces. So I'd cut out each face, and I put blue tape around the outside of it. I took the photographs that I'm using to hydroimage onto the 3D prints from Facebook. It was a good opportunity to take this weird, uncanny, true self and these photographs that are taken by friends and family and kind of like your virtual self, and to put those onto this like really almost uncomfortably true image of yourself. Picasso has these great paintings that the eyes don't match up, the nose doesn't match up, and he also has these great sculptures that do the same, where the facial features aren't where they're supposed to be, or they're not matching up with each other. And this was all inspired for Picasso from African masks. So not only was I inspired by the Picasso paintings, but I liked this idea of taking a 3D scan of yourself and that being like your true image. It's really weird because when you take a 3D scan of yourself and 3D print yourself out, it's kind of like seeing, I can imagine that's what people who got their photograph taken for the first time felt like. Then you spray the activator on the water, and then you can really see it, the paper melt away, and then all you see is the ink in the water, just like sitting on top of the water, and you can't even see the paper anymore. So once the paper has fully disintegrated into the water, and you can just see the ink floating on the top of the water, that's when you dip your 3D print in. So I'm dipping these faces into the hydroimaging material, and I'm purposefully not lining them up. So the image of the nose might not be on the 3D print of the nose, the sculpture of the nose. The eyes might not line up with the eyes. And it gives you this kind of ghost-like image where you're seeing the sculpture of the face and then the image of the face on the sculpture, but they're not quite lining up, so you're seeing like two faces. And it kind of reminded me of like either a Francis Bacon painting or a Picasso painting, but in sculpture form. So the last step after you have your image on the 3D print is warm water. Just like gently rinse it. You shouldn't really have to rub it, otherwise the image rubs off. But you just gently rinse the film off, and then you can spray it with a lacquer and it seals everything in. Because of the process of hydroimaging, which is a new process that I was learning, I had to cut out the faces from the bust to be able to hydroimage them and then place them back in. And it ended up looking kind of like a mask, which was Picasso's original inspiration for his paintings. So it kind of made like a nice circle from mask to Picasso painting to sculpture, then back to mask again. And it all kind of linked together perfectly.